NSF, we work hard to support excellence and equity in Newton Public Schools. And we focus our efforts in three specific areas. What we call our three pillars, which include allowing teachers to try new approaches in the classroom. We also fund professional development. And finally, we fund programs that address inequities that we know exist in our system, unfortunately, and we know they stem from a variety, an array of factors. So I think you're probably familiar with our mission and our pillars. So this year has just been, again, another extraordinary, unusual year. And the whole last 2 years have been a challenging time to be an educator, and to be associated with the schools, to say the least. And we just want to point out, it's amazing to see how the Newton Public Schools teachers have responded by taking on a record number of grant-funded projects that address inequities and employ innovative ways to make the curriculum more engaging and effective for our students. So rather than succumbing to the unprecedented challenges, our teachers are fighting back, and we just want to give them a shout out. And to put some numbers behind that, this is the last 3 years by the end of our first round of funding, which is where we are now. So after the first round of grants approved, going back to FY20, and just for context, FY20's first round of grants was before the pandemic shut down. So it seems like 100 years ago, but it was only 2. And you can see the tremendous growth in both the number of grants funded and the dollars of grants funded. And we are thrilled and overwhelmed at the increased need for the work we do. So you can see here, the pie chart on the left shows how our funds are distributed across our 3 pillars in terms of dollars. And you can see on the right how the grants we make are distributed in terms of numbers of grants. It's interesting to note that our grants for new approaches, which are sometimes called teacher grants or classroom grants, often cost less than some of the other programming we support, but we make a lot of them. That shows the difference in that slice of the pie. So by making a lot of those, we are really reaching and having an impact on a lot of classrooms and a lot of students. And they are a super important part of the work that we do. And I just want to illuminate 3 grants, 3 things that we're doing right now that we have funded recently, just to give you a flavor, a glimpse of the work that we're doing, the impact that we're having. So exciting that we are funding a pilot in 5 elementary schools right now to test the impact, to test the use of the ukulele as the primary classroom instrument in the music classrooms. The trend to use the ukulele in the music education results from the fact that with a chordal instrument like the ukulele, students could learn a chordal framework and common chords found in popular songs they know. And this will allow them to foster a better understanding of music and a deeper love of music from a young age. And personally, we also think that this grant may result in immediate donations from parents when they learn that this grant may bring about the end of the recorder concerts. We have also funded some professional development recently for all the middle school world language teachers. This is for them to learn about a new approach, which is shown to help students improve their understanding of foreign language through a storytelling approach. And the feedback that we have gotten from the teachers on this is absolutely extraordinary. One of the best workshops I've attended in 22 years, and there's so many things I can't wait to try out. So we're thrilled to think of the impact that grant has had. And finally, the Calculus Project. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. This is something we've been funding for several years now. It's a program we partner with funding with the Newton Public Schools on, and it's proven to be a successful program in addressing the achievement gap that we unfortunately know exists in our high school math programs. It has successfully boosted the number of biracial and students of color, starting working with them in 8th grade through extra support during the school year and summer programs. And it has boosted the number that ultimately enroll significantly boosted the number who are able to enroll in calculus as a senior in high school, so that they get all the associated benefits from that in higher learning and college admissions. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Amy.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Amy Warner. I am a co-president of Newton Schools Foundation with Rana. I'm really happy to be joining you tonight. So who are our donors? You know, we have so many. So whether it is existing parents today, whether it's alums of the Newton Schools, whether it's parents of alums, we also have a lot of corporate donors. So here is just sort of a sense of who we're making asks to. And we're working really hard on donor engagement. We are personally reaching out, whether it's via email, personal note, to all of our donors to just sort of cultivate and foster an excitement around what's going on in the Newton Public Schools and how their donations are really making a difference. As you can see, we probably have about 6 buckets of where we're sort of concentrating or fundraising. 2 that are very well known, the Calculus Project, which Rana just mentioned. We continue to have specific sponsors for that, as well as have added some corporate sponsors, and really excited that we're able to help fund the next 5-year cohort for that. And then Newton Inspires, which has been our speaker series, well known, taking place in the fall. At Newton South. Last year, we changed course a little bit and pivoted and went for a digital 8-session speaker series. So we are slated to have that happen again, potentially virtually in the late spring of 2022. But you can see that we do an annual appeal. And we have quite a database of past donors as well as new donors. And then our Honor Thy Teacher, which is a great opportunity for current parents to honor the educators that are in their children's lives. And that kind of kicks off April into June. And then we're fortunate enough to be given a bib for the Boston Marathon. And luckily for this fiscal year, we're gonna benefit from having an October and an April race. So very reaching out to the community, to teachers, and these are just a few of our past ones who have run for us. And then just the community at large coming together. Last year, Clover Food Labs joined us on Washington Street, and they wanted to have an event that their 2-day opening, that a percentage of their proceeds would go. They made a very generous donation to the foundation. And then just this past holiday season, Christine's Day Spa did something very similar. So we've been very fortunate. So whether it's from parents, whether it's from the community, whether it's from corporate giving, that they're just all in support of the foundation. And this is the dream team that sort of makes it all happen. Just people within the community. This is our board of directors, made up of just, again, different people from the community, whether they live or work, have children. This is just a lot of hard work goes in with these people. And I want to specifically call out Amy Mistro as well as Allison Mulligan, because they're wonderful. We also worked really hard this year to build up our school liaison program. So the school liaisons that are representing each one of the schools is getting information from us. We have meetings with them to keep them up to date on what's going on and funding that's available for them. And then we just have volunteers, and that's a great feeder for us for people who want to become board members. We're always looking for people within the community that would like to join our board. And it's a great organization. So I was going to do a drum roll, but we are very pleased to be offering or giving a check for $175,000, one of the largest that the foundation has given to the Newton Schools. So with that said, we'll sort of show where that's looked over the last 10 years. So as I mentioned, this is our largest contribution. We're very pleased to be giving it, but it also shows that there's a funding need out there. And as Rana's slides had showed, we're raising more money, but we're also getting more grant requests. And so we're working really hard so that we're able to meet those needs and provide the wonderful programming according to our 3 pillars that's happening. So our takeaways from tonight are we're always looking for contributions. So just to kind of get that word out there that we are, really working within the community to engage. and get more funds. Our next round for grant deadlines will be May 14th. We just finished up a slew of funding at our last board meeting. And again, Amy Mistro was instrumental in that. So May 14th is the next deadline. And as I mentioned, we're always looking for volunteers, whether you work or live in the community. You know, I myself, I don't live in Newton, but I work in Newton, and I'm a big advocate of public education. And so this foundation was a niche for me to be a part of, and it's been really welcoming and wonderful. So, again, on behalf of Rana and I and the whole Newton Schools Foundation, we're so pleased to be able to present tonight's $175,000 check. Thank you.